What's going on and welcome back to the channel. Today we are checking out a really interesting RGB light from FalconEyes, Aparo Meteor 30. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Josh Haynes. I'm a freelance filmmaker and I bring out videos to help you grow as creators. If you have not subscribed, consider. Today we're checking out this tube light from FalconEyes. Now, disclaimer before we get too far in this video, they did send this to me for free to review. However, I'm not being paid or sponsored by them. They're not seeing this video at all before it goes live. I do have a sponsor and that is Motion Ray, but we'll get to them here in a little bit. So if you do pick up this light, it is going to come with a charging cord type A to type C. It's going to come with a really nice soft bag. It's also going to have a wall mount clamp so you can hook that to the wall or some other stand. It's got a couple little holes so you could drill something in there. A couple different varieties you could do with that, as well as it's got two little metal plates. We'll get to those here in a little bit. Then of course you're going to get the light itself, which leads me into the next thing I want to talk about. Build quality. This thing is built phenomenal. It has an all aluminum body, aside from the little bit of plastic on the back for the panel, and then of course the plastic on the front. It's got like a frosted glass. This thing has magnets all over it. So you've got some on the back, some on the top, one on the bottom right here, and then on the other side you've got your quarter 20, as well as you have a USB type C for charging. We talked about those plates that came with it, the little metal pieces. You would hold those behind the fabric, set this up to it, and it's going to kind of sandwich that fabric together in there without actually having to mess it up. I used it with my paper wall backdrop and it worked really good. Of course, you don't have to use those plates because it's got magnets all over it, so you could just slap this up anywhere and you're good to go. That's got some metal in it. This has great quality light. You've got the power button on the top right here. It's going to power up. It's got a whole bunch of RGB colors. I'm talking this thing will go pretty much any color you're wanting it to do. This light has amazing color range. It'll go from 2000 Kelvin all the way to 20,000 Kelvin. I have never seen a tube light go that high. It has like 37 effects built into it. It's pretty much all the standard ones we're used to seeing in tube lights, but again, I feel like if it's not in there, they're gonna get in trouble for that from their users because it's kind of just expected to be in these lights nowadays. The light will dim from 0 to 100% and it's got a CRI rating of 96. Now, before we talk about battery life and everything else, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, and that is Motion Array. Motion Array has so much to offer. I have a hard time explaining it to people anytime they ask about it. My favorite thing is their presets. I like to hop on there, me being a DaVinci Resolve editor. I'm gonna find something that's gonna fit for the video I need, like this one. Sometimes maybe I want some glitch or some overlay effects or titles. I'm gonna find the perfect one. I'm gonna download it, load it into DaVinci Resolve, tweak it to what I need to fit the video. Very easy. The customization is right there, built in, phenomenal. Boom, I'm done, saving an insane amount of time using Motion Array. If you guys are wanting to check out Motion Array, of course, they have so much more than just those titles and effects and presets that go on top. They have a plethora of things on their website. I will have a link in the description below if you're wanting to check them out. Use that code, and when you sign up, you will get $50 off any annual plan. Thank you so much, Motion Array, for sponsoring this video and other creators just like me. Let's talk about battery life on this little RGB tube light. So this thing is gonna have an hour and 20 minutes built into it for just your normal standard mode. I think that's a solid amount for something this size with the build quality. Anything more than that, and it's gonna start getting a lot bigger. It does have other modes that you can pick. So you have your eco mode that's gonna give you 160 minutes. You also are gonna have a super eco that's gonna give you 210 minutes. Deep Eco is going to give you 360 minutes of battery life. So you've got a couple different tiers you can pick from. Of course, each tier is going to have a little bit of drawback. It's not going to be able to get to that full capacity when you're doing the Deep Eco mode that's on here, but it is going to give you something. So if you know you don't have a power bank that you can plug this thing in or charge it, it's a good option to have in case you're just trying to get to that last little bit throughout the shoot and you need to get that last shot real quick. That's an option for you right there. The other thing that I really like about this RGB light is the app that can connect to it. Inside the app, you have an insane amount of control. You can pick the color temperature by just swiping and moving it along. You can see it goes all the way up to that 20,000 Kelvin, which is absolutely crazy. You can bring it all the way down to 2,000, as well as you have these presets up at the top. You could just click those and pick whichever one you're gonna wanna pick. The thing that I really like about it is if you click on the color temperature itself, I could pick the actual Kelvin I want down to the specific numbers. You have your green/magenta shift down at the bottom, so if you're really trying to dial that in, as well as you have your brightness, and you can pick which curve you want it to be. So if we just want it to be a really smooth one, I'm just gonna have it be set to slowly ramp up. Really like that. You have all these colors you can pick from, as well as you can dial in a specific color and bring it back, and then you can add that to the lineup of the list that's in there. I think that's really cool. And then of course you got the RGB. You can move it around just the same. There's a lot of control in there, as well as you can be changing the Kelvin of the light at the same time. Really like that. Of course, you've got your gel selection. You've got a whole bunch of different gels in here. Really nice. You've got your scene effects. It's going to have your TV, candle, flashlight, strobe, you know, everything that's normally in there. And then you've got your pixel effect, which I think is really cool. So we could do like a rainbow slide. I could turn the brightness all the way up if I wanted. I could turn the speed up even more. And now we've got this really cool effect that is going to just kind of rainbow down. I think that's really cool. I mean, there is a lot that's in there. And then of course you've got music, so you can actually pick which music you want it to play to in effect. I think that's kind of cool. I don't know how much I would use that. And then of course my personal favorite, which I'm going to shut that music off because I don't want that to play anymore. I'm going to go to the color picker. I'm going to select that, and you can see in here it's got the app. So if I wanted that specific color right there, I'm going to pick it, and then it's immediately going to bring this to that exact color. I think that is a really nice touch. I think every app should have that built in that's got RGB and all that capability. Quickly before we close this video out, let's talk about the pros and cons, starting with the cons. Con number one, the color picker, or even the color you have on the tube light, if you're adjusting something, sometimes does not hold when you shut the light off. So if I get a very specific red, blue, green, whatever I have, and then I shut the light off, sometimes it does not hold that color, and then I'm having to re-pick it. Con number two is it's not the brightest tube light I've ever had in this size. Out of all the tube lights I've used around this size, I'd put it middle of the road. It's not the brightest, it's not the dimmest, but it's just kind of right there in the middle. Of course, I will have all the links in the description below for you guys to check out, read up on this light, see what the actual for sure numbers are before you would possibly pick this up. Now, let's talk about the pros real quick before we close this out. Pro number one, it's built like a tank. I love that this thing is sturdy. It doesn't feel like it's gonna shatter if I dropped it. Pro number 2/3 is the app works great, as well as the effects and RGB colors that are built into the light. I love that you can do whatever you want to do on the back of the light that you can do in the app, and vice versa. Works really well. I love that if I have to mount this thing high, I'm just saving a lot of time by using the app. So my final thoughts on the Meteor 30 is I think it is a really good RGB light. There's a whole bunch of different ones that are in the same size in this bracket, but this one's not gonna break your bank. I think it gives you a really good light quality. I love all the features that are packed into it, but again, you're the one that knows how you want to spend your money, and I'm not going to tell you how to do that. If you're wanting to check it out, of course, links in the description below. Thank you so much, Motion Array, for sponsoring this video. You're amazing. I'm the Iron Giant. See you next time. Peace.